Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins All World, Coin Enthusiasts. Today, we have something truly exciting to talk about, one of the most iconic and beloved coins in American history, the 1967 Lincoln 1 cent. While this may seem like just another penny to the casual observer, there's a hidden story behind this small piece of currency that could make it worth a fortune. If you're a coin collector, or even if you're just curious about the value of your spare change, you'll definitely want to stick around for this one. The Lincoln cent is one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, this coin has been in circulation for over a century. With each passing year, the design of the Lincoln cent has changed slightly, but the coin's association with President Lincoln and its representation of American history have remained constant. When it comes to the 1967 Lincoln cent, this particular year may not seem as significant as some of its earlier counterparts, but it's a perfect example of how small details can make a big difference in the world of coin collecting. The 1967 Lincoln cent was struck during a time when the U.S. economy was undergoing some significant changes. This was the tail end of the 1960s, a period of social upheaval, political change, and economic transformation. Yet, despite the tumultuous times, the design of the Lincoln cent remained a steady presence in everyday transactions. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1967 Lincoln cent so special in the eyes of collectors. To the untrained eye, this might just look like another penny from the 1960s, but what makes it rare and valuable comes down to a few important factors. The first thing to note is the mint mark. In 1967, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln cents at multiple facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The mint mark, which appears on the reverse of the coin, tells us where the coin was struck. A D stands for Denver, an S represents San Francisco, and coins struck in Philadelphia typically have no mint mark at all. In the case of the 1967 Lincoln cent, the mint mark that can make all the difference is the D for Denver. While it's true that millions of these coins were produced at the Denver Mint, there are certain conditions and variations that make a 1967 D mint mark penny extremely valuable. If you happen to find one in perfect condition, without any noticeable wear, scratches, or discoloration, you might be holding a coin that could fetch a high price at auction, but it's not just about the condition of the coin. Over the years, collectors have become particularly interested in certain rarities that may have been produced due to minting errors. Minting errors, such as double strikes, misaligned dies, or off-center strikes, can drastically increase the value of a coin. For instance, a 1967 Lincoln cent with a double die error, meaning that the design was struck more than once in the same spot, could be worth significantly more than a typical 1967 penny. Minting errors are considered extremely rare, and they often capture the attention of serious collectors who are willing to pay a premium for these one-of-a-kind pieces. Aside from minting errors, the overall demand for well-preserved coins from this era also drives up the price. Most of the 1967 Lincoln cents were circulated and are now showing their age with signs of wear, which makes finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition incredibly rare. Coins that are free of blemishes and wear and still have their original luster are often referred to as gem coins, and they are highly sought after in the collecting community. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the value of the 1967 Lincoln 1 cent. While the majority of these coins might only be worth their face value of 1 cent, there are exceptional specimens that have been known to fetch far higher prices. If you're lucky enough to have a 1967 Lincoln cent that is in near mint condition, or even one with a rare minting error, it could be worth as much as $80,000, that's right, $80,000 for a single 1967 Lincoln 1 cent. It might sound unbelievable, but the value of rare and well-preserved coins has been steadily rising over the years, and coins from the 1960s, especially those with unique characteristics, are becoming more and more desirable to collectors. Whether it's the rarity of a minting error or the exceptional condition of a well-preserved penny, finding one of these coins could be a game-changer for your collection. So, the next time you're going through your loose change or digging through your coin collection, take a moment to examine your 1967 Lincoln cents closely. Look for any signs of wear or minting errors that might set your coin apart from the rest. Even though this particular penny was produced in high quantities, the right combination of condition and rarity could mean a significant payday. Today, we have a truly special coin to discuss that may surprise you with its value. It's a coin that might be hiding right under your nose, literally, in your pocket change or an old jar of coins, the 1966 Lincoln 1 cent. When you think of pennies, you probably don't think of them as being worth much, but the truth is, certain pennies can hold quite a hefty price tag, especially if they have the right characteristics. The 1966 Lincoln cent is a great example of this, so let's dive in and find out just why this small coin could be worth so much more than its face value. First, let's take a moment to talk about the history of the Lincoln 1 cent, introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This coin has been in circulation for well over a century. While the design of the Lincoln cent has evolved over the years, the one constant has been the image of Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side of the coin. The reverse side, which originally featured 2 wheat ears, has changed over time as well, but in 1966, it still bore the classic wheat design. The 1966 Lincoln cent was produced at a time when the U.S. Mint was ramping up production to meet the needs of a growing economy. The coin was minted in large quantities, and most of the 1966 Lincoln cents were circulated through daily transactions. This makes the 1966 penny relatively common when compared to some other rare dates in the Lincoln cent series. But, like with most coins, certain factors can make one of these coins much more valuable than others. The first thing to keep in mind when it comes to the value of a 1966 Lincoln cent is its condition. As with any coin, the better the condition, the more it's worth. Most of the 1966 Lincoln cents you'll come across today will show signs of wear from being used in circulation. They may be tarnished, scratched, or even have worn-down details from years of handling. But a 1966 penny in near-perfect condition, with little to no signs of wear, is a rarity. When a coin is well preserved, it can be worth far more than a typical circulated penny. The real value in the 1966 Lincoln cent, though, lies in the specifics of its minting. In 1966, the U.S. Mint produced coins in both Philadelphia and Denver, and it's the coins minted in Denver that tend to catch the attention of collectors. These coins feature a D mint mark, indicating that they were struck at the Denver Mint. However, coins from this period can have subtle differences, including slight variations in their design or even minting errors. A minting error, such as a double die or an off-center strike, can make a coin even more valuable. Coins with these errors are considered rare, and the more unusual the error, the higher the value. Some 1966 Lincoln cents have been found with unusual features or imperfections, making them highly prized by collectors. These can include off-center strikes, where the design wasn't properly aligned when the coin was struck, or even doubled images, where the design was struck more than once in the same spot. Minting errors like these are very uncommon, and finding a 1966 penny with a visible mistake can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable collector's item. If you happen to find a 1966 penny with any kind of minting error, it could increase its value dramatically. Aside from the condition and potential errors, there's one more factor that makes the 1966 Lincoln cent a special coin: the demand from collectors. As time passes, more and more collectors are looking for rare and unique coins to add to their collections, and the 1966 Lincoln cent, particularly in excellent condition or with minting errors, is high on their list. This is why coins from this era, especially ones that have been preserved in near-mint state, continue to rise in value. Now, let's get to the most exciting part: how much is the 1966 Lincoln 1 cent really worth? As we mentioned earlier, most of these coins will only be worth their face value, especially if they've been heavily circulated. However, when you find one that's in pristine, uncirculated condition or has a rare minting error, it can fetch an astounding price. In fact, a 1966 Lincoln 1 cent, especially one with a rare minting error or an excellent grade, could be worth as much as $86,000. Yes, you heard that right, $86,000 for a single 1966 Lincoln cent. It might sound hard to believe, but when you take into account the rarity of minting errors and the increasing demand for high-quality coins from this era, it's not all that surprising. Coins in exceptional condition or with unique features can command top dollar at auctions, and the 1966 penny is no exception. Whether it's the rarity of a minting error or just the sheer quality of the coin, this small piece of currency has the potential to be worth far more than you ever imagined. Today, we're diving into the world of one of America's most iconic and widely recognized coins, the Lincoln 1 cent. This little copper coin has been in circulation for more than a century, and while many people still overlook its value, there's a hidden gem that you might want to keep an eye out for: the 1970 Lincoln 1 cent. At first glance, this might seem like just another penny from the 1970s, but wait until you hear about its fascinating history and what makes this coin so special to collectors today. The Lincoln 1 cent has been a staple of American currency since 1909, created to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin has gone through several design changes over the years, but it's always kept the famous portrait of President Lincoln on the obverse. On the reverse side, the coin originally featured the iconic wheat ears, which continued to appear on the Lincoln cent until 1958. In 1970, however, the design was slightly altered, and the reverse now featured the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to the monument that honors the president. This change remains a defining feature of the coin to this day, but what makes the 1970 Lincoln 1 cent so intriguing? Well, it's not just about the design or the fact that it was struck during a transformative time in American history. The key to its value lies in its rarity and condition. Despite being produced in large quantities, the 1970 Lincoln 1 cent has become a coin that collectors search for, especially those in pristine, uncirculated condition. This penny, like many other coins, may have been used for years in circulation, but if you happen to find one that's nearly as fresh as the day it was minted, you could be holding a small treasure. What makes a 1970 penny valuable is its potential for high-grade condition. Most of the 1970 Lincoln cents you'll come across today are worn, scratched, or have been heavily circulated over the years. The coin's age and frequent use can cause it to lose its shine, making it less desirable for collectors. However, finding one that has remained in mint condition, without any visible wear, is a rare and highly sought-after find. Coins in this near-perfect state are often referred to as uncirculated, and these uncirculated coins can fetch a premium price at auctions or in private sales, but condition isn't the only factor that makes the 1970 Lincoln cent stand out. Some of these coins have also been discovered with unique characteristics that make them even more valuable. The U.S. Mint is known for occasional errors in the production process, and the 1970 penny is no exception. Minting errors, such as double die strikes, misaligned designs, or off-center strikes, can add significant value to a coin. When these types of errors are found, collectors are often willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on these rare specimens. One example of such an error is the famous 1970 double die obverse, a rare variety that was struck with a double image on the coin's design. This minting error, where the coin's design was struck twice, results in visible doubling of certain parts of the coin, particularly on Lincoln's face and the date. These types of errors are especially desirable because they're so difficult to find, and coins with this error can be worth far more than a typical 1970 penny. Collectors and investors alike are always on the lookout for these rare varieties, and coins with such minting errors can command far higher prices than regular issues. The 1970 Lincoln cent with a notable double die error has been known to sell for tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the quality and severity of the error. Beyond the minting errors, the appeal of the 1970 Lincoln cent also lies in its historical context. The 1970s were a time of economic change and social transformation in America. The country was adjusting to a new world order after the turmoil of the 1960s, and coins like the 1970 Lincoln cent served as everyday symbols of American life. As a result, many collectors find the 1970 penny to be an interesting piece of history, making it highly collectible even without minting errors or high grades. Now, let's get to the big reveal: just how much can a 1970 Lincoln cent be worth? While most of the coins are only worth their face value of 1 cent, a well-preserved, uncirculated example could be worth thousands of dollars. And if you're lucky enough to come across a 1970 Lincoln cent with a minting error or other unique features, you could be looking at an impressive price tag. In fact, the right 1970 Lincoln cent, especially one with a rare minting error or in flawless condition, could be worth as much as $84,000, that's right, $84,000 for a single penny. It may sound unbelievable, but the value of these coins is determined by their rarity, condition, and any unique features they may have. Collectors are constantly on the lookout for coins like the 1970 Lincoln cent, and if you have one in excellent condition or with a minting error, you could be sitting on a valuable treasure. 1 cent penny holds a special place. It's small, humble, and something we see in our pockets almost every day. But did you know that some 1 cent pennies are worth much more than their face value? In particular, if you've ever come across a 1971 penny, you could be holding onto something that's worth far more than you imagined. Let's take a closer look at the 1971 penny and why it could be worth a small fortune. It might seem like just another ordinary coin, but there's more to it than meets the eye. The penny, which is made of copper and zinc, was designed by the famous sculptor Victor David Brenner. The obverse side of the penny features Abraham Lincoln, one of the most influential presidents in American history, and on the reverse side, you'll find a simple but iconic design of a wheat stalk, which was used from 1909 to 1958. But since 1959, the reverse has shown the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to the 16th president. However, the penny from 1971 holds its own secret. It's not just any ordinary coin. While the penny's design remained the same, it's actually one of the years in which the U.S. Mint experimented with slightly different production techniques. These subtle differences can sometimes result in a rare, highly valuable coin. Coins are often assessed based on their condition, rarity, and the presence of any unusual markings or flaws. That's where the 1971 penny comes into play. One of the rarest variations of the 1971 penny involves a minting error. This error occurred when the penny was struck by the dies improperly. These coins are called double-die pennies, and they're known for their distinct appearance. The most noticeable feature of a double-die penny is the doubling effect, which occurs in the date or the inscription, making the letters or numbers look slightly offset. This doubling happens due to a misalignment of the die used to stamp the coin, and it can significantly increase the coin's value to collectors. So, if you've got a 1971 penny that seems a little off, don't toss it into the jar just yet. Check closely to see if there's any noticeable doubling or unique characteristics that could make it valuable. But even without an error, some 1971 pennies are worth more than their 1 cent face value simply because of their overall condition. Now, let's talk about the real money. If you were to find a 1971 penny that has been struck with one of these rare errors or is in exceptional condition, you could potentially sell it for a hefty sum. Collectors and enthusiasts are always on the lookout for rare coins, and the value of some of these pennies has skyrocketed. In fact, certain rare 1971 pennies have been known to sell for as much as $85,000. That's right, $85,000. It's hard to believe that a simple 1 cent penny could fetch such a high price, but it's true. If you find a 1971 penny in exceptional condition or with a unique minting error, you could be holding onto a treasure worth far more than you imagined. So, next time you stumble across a 1971 penny, take a moment to check it carefully. You never know, you might just find a hidden gem that could make you a small fortune. Today, we're diving into a coin that's not just a staple of American currency, but also a potential treasure for collectors, the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent. At first glance, this might seem like just another penny from the 70s, but let me tell you, there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. If you're into coin collecting, or just curious about how a penny can be worth far more than its face value, then you're in the right place. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent is a coin worth keeping an eye on. The Lincoln 1 cent has been part of the American currency system since 1909, designed to honor President Abraham Lincoln on his 100th birthday. Over the years, this iconic coin has seen a number of design changes, but it has always kept Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side. The 1976 Lincoln 1 cent is part of a pivotal period in U.S. coinage, as it marked the bicentennial celebration of America's independence. While the bicentennial quarter and half dollar are often the stars of the show when it comes to coin collectors, the 1976 Lincoln penny holds a unique place in history and has its own appeal. In 1976, the U.S. Mint struck millions of these pennies, and like most pennies, they were widely circulated throughout the country. However, if you dig a little deeper, you'll find that certain 1976 Lincoln cents are much rarer than others, and their value has increased dramatically over the years. Most of the coins you come across from this era will be worn and damaged, but that's what makes finding a high-quality 1976 penny such an exciting and rewarding discovery. One of the main factors that affects a coin's value is its condition. The more pristine the coin, the more valuable it becomes to collectors. So, a 1976 Lincoln 1 cent in mint or near mint condition is considered quite rare. When you come across a 1976 penny that still has its original shine and hasn't been damaged by years of circulation, it can fetch a significant amount of money in the market. These uncirculated or near mint examples are what coin collectors dream of finding, and they're usually the ones that attract the highest bids at auctions. If you've ever been curious about what makes these pristine 1976 pennies so special, it all comes down to rarity. Most of the 1976 Lincoln pennies that were produced went into circulation and were spent, worn down, or lost over the years. So, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find a 1976 penny in perfect condition. The fewer of these coins that remain in great shape, the higher their demand, and their price, but it's not just about condition. Another factor that can really boost the value of a 1976 Lincoln cent is the possibility of minting errors. Minting errors are mistakes made during the production process at the U.S. Mint, and they can make a coin significantly more valuable. These errors can range from slight design misalignments to more noticeable mistakes like double strikes, off-center strikes, or missing details. These kinds of errors are often rare and highly sought after by collectors because they represent a unique and one-of-a-kind feature that isn't seen in most coins. The 1976 Lincoln cent is no exception when it comes to minting errors. Some of the most valuable 1976 pennies are those that feature an error in the design, whether it's a double die strike, where the coin's design is struck twice, or an off-center strike, where the image on the coin isn't aligned properly. A penny with these types of errors can be worth significantly more than a regular 1976 coin. In fact, some 1976 Lincoln cents with noticeable errors have sold for thousands of dollars, far beyond what you would expect for a penny. One particularly valuable feature to look out for is the 1976 Lincoln cent with a double die. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly during the minting process, causing parts of the design, especially the date and Lincoln's portrait, to appear doubled. This unique error is highly prized by collectors, and if you happen to have one in your collection, you could be sitting on a very valuable coin. It's also worth noting that the 1976 Lincoln cent was part of the larger celebration of the U.S. bicentennial, which also featured special designs on other coins, like the quarters and half dollars. While the penny itself didn't undergo a drastic design change, the bicentennial theme added an extra layer of significance to the year, which can make coins from this period even more desirable to collectors who want to own a piece of American history. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. What can you expect to get for a 1976 Lincoln 1 cent in excellent condition? While most of the pennies from this year are only worth 1 cent, a high-quality, uncirculated 1976 penny or one with a minting error could be worth a lot more. A well-preserved 1976 Lincoln penny, especially if it features a rare minting error like a double die, can easily fetch impressive amounts in the coin market. Here's the big reveal: if you're lucky enough to come across a 1976 Lincoln 1 cent that's in top-notch condition or features a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $97,000. That's right, $97,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but the market for rare and well-preserved coins like the 1976 Lincoln cent has skyrocketed in recent years, and if you're holding on to one of these valuable pennies, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, the next time you come across a 1976 Lincoln penny, don't just toss it into your change jar. Take a closer look at its condition, and if you spot something unusual or in pristine shape, it could be worth far more than its face value. With the right coin in hand, you could be holding a valuable piece of American history. If you found this video interesting and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exciting coin discovery. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!